So after that, we had a meeting now with Urban Empire where we're like, yo guys, we're working really hard and like we'll burn out. Like if we keep on, doing
working like this, yeah.
We're young that time, we could manage. But like even right now, if that's how we were working, I don't think I'd be enjoying being a creative.
Yeah.
Had a meeting, we talked about it. And then now that's when egos came in. Like you guys should be getting more money. You guys should be
but I'm doing this, but you're doing this. Yeah.
That's when now egos came in.
In Setswana, we call it huipala.
It was a culture. I would go to Chill Step and fill up the stage with students where their parents are dropping students off in the night because they're going to perform. Kids are dancing, rehearsing, creating their own videos and content. They're obsessed. Dance was a drug that time. Like we made it a wave, a drug, and kids were getting hooked on it, and their parents were getting hooked on it as well. They loved it. They're like, this is an amazing distraction for my kids. But one thing that made me leave, and I don't know, I hope like maybe the government won't I hope I won't disappear. I hope, but like I'm just going to be honest.
Yes, Liddy right now. The gang gon' get it right now. I'm the man in Gap City right now. So you can't do what I done, so tell me what it is right now.
To set the vibe for this interview, I'm gonna wear this durag.
You have to wear the durag.
I'm gonna wear the durag.
You have to wear the durag. So, you're not a man.
I'm not a man if I don't wear it.
You don't wear the durag.
All right, now let's do it like this.
This one's velvet.
Velvet,
You have to make sure.
I have to make sure.
The drip, it's forever.
The drip is forever. The drip is forever.
Yeah. Do you wear durags or
I only wear durags when I'm working on my waves, basically.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
But now I'm still on a little break because this shit is just hot when it gets.
Yeah, and it's hot here.
Yeah.
But you can get the silky durag. So that one,
Where's your durag?
My durag is durag gives me too much power.
Yeah, so
you can become too powerful. But I've got a cap.
For sure.
The wave cap. It's still part of the durag.
No, cool.
I just don't want too much power, because I'll perform, But I've performed for you guys. Yeah.
Am I wearing it proper though?
Yeah, it's
is it straight?
It's straight. It has to be straight. You have to be straight.
All right, cool. Vibe set. Let's rock. Tabs, are you good? All right. My name is Isaac Brandon. Welcome back to another episode of the Isaac Brandon podcast, where we bring you real stories and real impact on the best content creators to ever grace this land. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest on today's episode is somebody I respect very much, just like any other guest I bring on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, actually, before I get anywhere further, I want to tell you guys that right now you are watching the Hangout sessions. I actually never tell you guys what you're actually watching here, but there's a segment of the podcast where we bring, special people like my guest today, where we get real stories from them, unfiltered, raw stories from them. And, they come on here and share that side and we document it pretty well, I guess. Like I said, my guest on today's episode is somebody I respect very much. He's an entrepreneur. He's a creative entrepreneur like myself. He's an extraordinary dancer. Like I knew him as a dancer the first time I came across him. He's a musician now, but back then I didn't know him as a musician, funny enough.
Yeah.
He's also, you guys may know him from a dance crew that was popular back then, NABDUR, Eben, Empire Dance Crew. That was with Boyo Flex, the Ninja, with your Alter Clutch, and the rest of them other niggas who he will remind me of as the episode continues. I'm talking about LSK's Hardest Own.
The vibe.
The guy that wears the durag, that creates waves everywhere, but on his head.
Yeah.
That sounds so corny, but it didn't sound corny when I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Mix Kasamwa.
You know the vibes,
Yes,
you know
sir,
the vibes,
yes, sir,
you know
yes,
the
sir,
vibes.
yes, sir, Mix.
LSK, baby, LSK all the
LSK's
way.
had its own.
You know the vibes.
My nigga, what's up, dog?
I'm good, I'm chilling.
You're in the city today. What brings you to the city?
You know, I actually just came to like visit a few people, like just like close friends and like family. Yeah, like it was just sort of like a vacation thing, you know. But I just thought, you know, I'd come tap it in with you guys.
Yeah. Like he's the one that actually hit me up, you know, to come be on the show.
Yeah.
And you know, like I was super humble when he like reached out. I was like, okay, nah, it shows that we are doing God's work right now. You know, where Mix is now hitting us up. LSK's had its own, like it's hitting us up, telling us that he wants to be on the show. Like I'm so humble, dog. My nigga, kick start things. I want to talk about like the first time I came across you guys as dancers. Like I saw you guys on like a couple of Faded Gang music videos.
Yeah.
Which
Faded Gang.
Faded Gang music videos, which like where you guys had both Outer Clutch. Flex was there too. I think it was on the Why So Faded anthem, right?
Yeah.
Are you good, Tabs? All right. Like it was on the good. It was on the Why So Faded anthem, and then I went in to see you guys on the Faded Gang, like the Skunu music video.
Yeah.
I want you to paint a picture for us. How is the Gap City cultural landscape looking like that time? Like for somebody that doesn't know, and like for somebody that was, you know, that's right now probably, you know, fresh like into this shit, that's probably curious to find out how it was back then.
Back then, like, you know, it's funny that we're having this conversation because when I came back, I was like trying to observe and see like where the culture's at. Those days, it was like lit.
For real.
Like the culture just had so much potential, like, you know. I think my perspective for the culture at that time was that like by now, maybe like, you know, it would be like global, at least continental, you know.
Wow.
And it was just packaged well, it was fresh, you know, and it was inspiring. A lot of like how I've been creating culture now has been from like experiencing culture that time. So that was like a blueprint, it was like lessons I was learning, you know, just seeing how people were moving. So yeah, like, it's sort of like in a blurry place right now, but I think maybe COVID is what sort of like slowed everyone down.
For sure.
But yeah, like it was lit. Like you didn't know where it could go. You know, anything was possible. Like you know, Faded Gang, like you said, they came with like trap at that time. People are like trap in Botswana now.
And you guys were there dancing to that shit
Yeah,
too.
we were there. Like we pushed like urban, like, you know, urban empire. Like we pushed like urban culture in
For
like,
sure,
Botswana,
heavily.
Crazy.
Like crazy, dog.
Like crazy. Like I don't.
Which I feel like a lot of us aren't giving, you know, like a lot of you guys like credit for.
Yeah.
You know, like your flexes, like your mixes, you know, like you guys like played like a very crucial role, man. Like right now, like I can't really tell you like a group, like from the top of my head, like I can't really tell you a group that was like very, very impactful from like a hip hop perspective or like from like a trap or urban perspective.
Yeah.
Like that created like much influence as you guys did. You know what I mean?
No one does it like us. Like I was talking to Flex last night. I was like, nah, like no one do it like us.
Sure.
Like we were killing it. Like we had like we had the youth, we had the kids.
For sure.
We had like all these schools. We used to do like all these schools, and then we had like Saturdays, and then we had also the shows in the night, like with the Faded Gangs, with the band tees. We had the corporate, the president's concert, the Diamonds conference, like Botswana's events, like fashion shows with Empire models. We were like pushing like dance to the fullest, and I don't know who'll be able to do it. Like I think obviously in time there'll come a time where people will push maybe even bigger than we did, but I don't know like when that will be, you know. So yeah.
I remember this one time, you know, me and C4 were running our YouTube channel, like the reaction videos, and like you guys, I think that time we were sitting on like a little 400 subscribers that time, and you guys were sitting on like 800. I remember that time we were looking at your channel, we were like, my niggas, me and C4 were telling each other, we're like, C4, we gotta make sure we catch up to these niggas. These niggas can't be sitting at 800 subscribers and not more 400. That's fucking impossible.
For real.
I'm telling you, my nigga, like that's how like hungry you were back then, my nigga. Like we were aiming for the top guys like you guys, you know what I mean? And like you guys inspired us on like another level. I'm not gonna lie to you, and like not to, you know, sound like I'm like ass licking you or like anything, but I'm actually being honest with you right now. Like you guys like created like another, you know, landscape, you know, I don't think like a lot of people are gonna be forgetting from that time, you know what I mean? But I really understand Setswana a bit.
Yeah. No, like a lot actually. So you can
like people that like experienced it, you know what I mean? Like all throughout, you know what I mean? So like shout out to you guys for that. My nigga, I want to talk about like your upbringing, dog. You know what I mean? Like I want to talk about your upbringing, and like I obviously can't do that without mentioning the fact that you lost your mom at quite a very young age.
Yeah.
And like for me, like I can imagine how that must have felt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like man, so rest in peace. Continue resting in peace. My nigga, I want you to like elaborate or just like tell us how your upbringing was, you know, more especially that like you had like a mother absent, like, you know, for like the better part of your childhood.
Yeah, I think like it was really difficult for me at that time. And then it's also something that came back. You know, some of these things that happen to you when you're young, they come back and affect you when you get older.
Sure.
So she had been sick like throughout my childhood because she was anemic. Yeah, so she would like, her immune system wasn't like the strongest because of like blood, you know. So she was going.
Is that the sickle cell like anemia?
Not necessarily sickle cell, just sort of like, it's just sort of like blood shortage with her. That was the situation. And so, you know, it was really affecting like her health, you know. So whenever she would get different, like small little illnesses for her, they would really be like, you know,
like
exaggerated. Yeah. So after that, like I just grew up being in that environment where she was always sick, and that's something we had to like deal with. We were trying different things. So, but luckily, I feel like she prepared me. She told me, she's like, you know, I'm sure you can see I'm always sick and stuff. Eventually, I'm going to pass on, so I want you to make sure that, you know, you push in life, you're successful and stuff. So it sort of helped me because she used to say sometimes, like almost every day she would tell me, sometimes when she's upset, she'd just sit me down and tell me like, you know, one day I'm going to die and like, you know, you just need to make sure you focus, etc., etc. So yeah.
Like that must have been hard for you as like a child. Like imagine you're doing your grade 4 and your mom is telling you all this.
Yeah.
Like it must have been hard for you.
Yeah, when I was young, it felt like it wasn't, but like growing older, I was like, yo, I was actually dealing like with a lot. And then finally, I thought I was sort of like ready when like I lost her or we lost her. But now just comprehending the entire idea of like, you've lost someone, you're never going to see them again. You'll never hear their voice again.
I lost my grandfather like a couple of months ago. Like that's exactly how I felt.
Sorry about
like it was the first time I actually lost somebody that was that close for me, like to me in like a very long time. I lost my dad when I was doing my, I think, Form 4.
Yeah.
And like ever since that time, and then nobody ever died in my bloodline, and then I lost my grandfather like in last year November, and like that was quite challenging for me. I was like, damn, dog, I'm still, you know, I lost my pops like when I was young, fairly young.
Yeah.
I was a kid. I didn't know what exactly was going on. You know. Yes, I understood that I lost my dad, but I didn't actually or get it entirely understood what it meant to me.
Actually, Form 4, like teenage time, is a very critical time, like even for a father figure.
You know what I mean?
So that must have been confusing.
It was very, 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 very confusing. So like I understand you when you talk about how like you're now looking at this and being like, damn, I'm never going to see this person again. Yeah.
They've gone, like, I never, and you don't, I don't want to say, like, you don't know where they've gone, but, like, you don't know, like, you can't access them and say, okay, they're they're this place, they're there, I can access them, I can, talk to them sometime, like, They say, okay, no, you can talk to them, like, maybe spiritually and stuff, but, like, it's not like you'll get a response or, like, a direct, connection with them. So that's the most traumatic part about death, is, like, they are gone, off the face of the planet,
And then now, like it has happened, you've grown up, learned to adapt to this, way of growing up. How did it mold you into the person, you ended up being, as like a grown man, obviously?
I think it just helped me sort of like value like people who are close to me.
For sure.
Because like dealing with death from that age, I'm always now thinking, even when I'm like with anyone, even with you right now, anything can happen, maybe even to me, or something can happen to you. And you sort of need to be like present and cherish like the moment that you're with people,
For sure.
Because I think luckily with me and my mom is that like when she passed on, we didn't have like any bad blood or anything. So I think it helped me know that like, okay, she's resting in peace and we're cool. So me and my dad started having issues because of like my creative journey.
Oh, yeah.
Earlier on,
In our pops are people that are quite strict when it comes to like the you having to leave like the serious shit and like having to focus on like the
creative stuff.
Like your serious shit. You know what I mean? Because there's that seriousness and then there's like your seriousness. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So now as a man, like as a father, like if he feels like he can't make decisions for you now, it becomes this thing about manhood now. Like, no, I'm a man, I should be able to make decisions for my son. So we started having those issues, and like eventually I just decided to like take on like what I wanted to do.
For sure.
But now I had to come back to him now and have a conversation with him now, because I was like, sometimes like he would call me and say, no, he's not feeling well, or I'd hear from somebody that he's not feeling well, and I'd get really scared. I'm like, what if I lose him? Like, he's all I've got right now. I don't want to lose him on those terms. So that's how like we just started like mending our relationship. And I always make sure whenever like we're having a conversation, things end at like a peaceful note, just in case, we don't want a situation where I've lost him. I've lost the last parent I have, and it has ended on bad terms. So
Is he still staying in Botswana though?
Yeah, he still stays in Botswana. But he's Zambian. Like he was born and raised in Zambia. He just came like here for work. And when he worked here, that's when like, he developed like a network and everything. Yeah.
How different do you think, you would have turned out to be, like for lack of better terms, if you had grown up with your mother?
I think
present,
if I grew up with my mom, I don't think I'd be doing this creative stuff. Right?
You lie.
For real, I don't think the hardest one would be there.
Why?
Because my mom was actually like an alpha female. Yeah, like I get a lot of like my alpha energy from like my mom actually.
For sure.
Not that like my dad's not an alpha, like he is also like a man and he has like his alpha energy, but he's more like, he always seeks like the peace side of things. Like he tries his best, especially now, like he's really changed. He's very calm and like peaceful now. But my mom was very, very like, strict. Erratic, strict. Like there's no way you're going around saying Buddha, except, sacked. Wearing durag.
You're wearing your durag in LSK.
You're performing. You're snapping. So she was very strict. She wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Wow.
If I'm not any of those things, I should just die.
You should dip.
I should dip. Bounce. So she was very strict. Like, very, very strict. Like, she had a balance though. She used to support me, because there's a time she used to take me for like these modeling things, like, like when I was young, these pageants in primary. This was when we were staying in Zambia. And then, she was supportive when I was dancing. She used to make me dance at like these weddings and stuff. And she would be there to take me for choreography and stuff. She actually contributed a lot to like my dancing. She used to take me for like his dance things, weddings, all the time. She'd always like recommend, no, like my son needs to do it and take me for rehearsal and sit there and tell me to focus when I'm. But again, it was this thing where it's sort of, she just wanted it to be an extracurricular. I'm just assuming maybe she would have been supportive, but I don't know.
And looking at it from now, you're just like,
I could
she
have probably
wouldn't have allowed this to happen.
But that's sort of where things could have gone. Like she was, and she was she had ways of getting her way. So she had like you know how mothers are with their sons, like they they have a way to control their sons. So like she had
even just through speaking. Like they don't have to like weave you. Like they just have to speak to you. You know what I mean? Like I totally understand. Like my mom has the same effect on me. Like she could literally just say 3 words and I'm like a whole nother person. You know what I mean? But speaking of dancing and like your dancing career, Ebon Empire Crew, man, how did that come about?
I think it started like in high school because I went to St. Joseph's, so that's where like I met.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I think I schooled with Flex before St. Joe, but like that's where I met Clutch, Cheesy, you know, like So it was just started off with I think me and Clutch like we had like a battle at like remember orientation? St. Joseph's orientation. We had a battle like me and Clutch, and Clutch blazed me.
What?
He blazed the on, imagine. He had on like me.
I had on like you.
But that's where it started. Like, and then after like we performed in front of like everyone in the school, and now like the girls, like they were feeling us, like, you know, like, yo, these guys can dance. So like, you know, we had options, you know, just around, just there, like,
Like we had options.
We had options, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Like in Lusaka, we call them pies.
Pies.
Yeah, pies. It's gozas.
Pies.
Bananas.
I want pies.
I want a pie. So after that, people were trying to create beef between me and Clutch because we battled, but I was just like, nah. I went up to him. We're in the same house. Remember there were houses? So we're in the same house. I went up to him. I'm like, bro, in the same house. And there's like this thing where houses compete, like talent, like compete. St. Joseph's was actually really good with like uplifting talent. I think V went to St. Joseph's.
Scar, Cast. Like a lot of like these big guys.
So when we had this competition, I approached him and I was like, let's work together. And we worked together and it was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Even more pies now are feeling us.
It's just like now it's a unit.
We multiply.
You multiply.
So like, we worked together and that's what helped, like actually working together.
Cool.
Then after high school, we decided to like create a crew.
For sure.
Yeah, to create a crew. And at first we were called DM9 because we used to like Dougie. That's when Dougie and Jerk was in fashion. You know, Dougie. You know, Then we used to perform at like Rainbow and like MAP. We used to go to different schools. Any school, bro. Like would go to Mosele, would go to Marang, you know.
And that's
then,
crazy.
would be performing everywhere. And then after DM9, is when we decided to Flex. I knew Flex. And Flex was telling me, he's like, yo, he wants to join.
Cool.
Flex was telling me, he's like, he wants to join us. I actually used to bully Flex, like, when we were in Form 3, Form 2, Form 3, like, I used to bully Flex. Like, for real. I remember but Flex is like, you know how he is, like he doesn't take shit, so.
How did that even, how, dog?
What happened was, like in class, I think he was really small before like he had this growth spurt. He was very small. So we're just like throwing things at him. He was seated in front. He got pissed off. Then he went and like reported us and like we all got punished and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But then, so we're not really close. Then even when we went to St. Joe together, we're not really close until like we started dancing and Flex like loves like, you know, the arts and creative. So he just sort of like also took the risk and I came and like, yo, I think I also told him to come join us because I saw him dance. I think I also texted him at some point. I'm like, yo, you should pull up. That's how he joined the crew. And that's how like when we were rebranding to Urban Empire from DM9, it was me, him, Clutch. Yeah.
All right.
And then, that's how Urban Empire came about. So now we continue the same blueprint. Dance classes was our source of income.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we had all the schools, like most of the private schools, like Rainbow Primary, Rainbow High School, Northside, MAP. We had, Westwood at some point, you know what I mean? Like we had all these schools and that was our source of income. Then we had dance classes at like Jack's Gym. So now all the students and people who don't go to like schools and stuff would be able to come for dance classes. We also used to do other schools as well, like Musele with different organizations, like go to those schools,
Okay, so like this is now when the Urban Empire brand is now been born.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So that was just like Urban Empire. And then now we started doing, we had an amazing like blueprint. Like me and folks were talking about it yesterday. Like we had corporates now. You know, corporates were like the president concert. Most of the corporate shows at Mighty Song were their president concert, like BOMO Awards, PNSC Awards, like Botswana events. You know what I mean? And then it was just...
And like all you guys would do is just come and dance.
Yeah, just come and dance.
What?
Yeah, and we also had the buys.
The buys and the money and the
rocks. The dong, the shackles. It was wild. Yeah, like we used to spend recklessly those days.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just had that drive because for me, like me and like my family, we haven't really been like financially stable. Yeah, you know, I always had to like, I don't remember, I think I started buying like my own clothes and shoes at like
16, 17.
Yeah, 16, 17. Like, you know, even when I was younger, Christmas is usually maybe the only time that you can get clothes and they should last you throughout the year. You know, you can't get like what you want, like expensive things. So we had that drive where like, we actually need money like to make sure we've got the drip. And just how expensive drip is in B-Dub, you know?
In B-Dub, man, like it's crazy.
It's crazy. So,
like, do you think, like, do you think like it was a sustainable thing for you guys then?
Yeah, it was.
Like, do you think you could actually make a career from that?
Yeah.
And then like feed your families and take your kids to school and everything?
Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was very sustainable because it's just that we were young because like we had, like, let's say for example at MAP, MAP contract was different. With MAP, what used to happen is that they would pay us every month classes. But like we were dance instructors, we were hired as dance instructors. You understand? And it was like a 2-year contract. So it's like a job. And then with other places like Northside and these other schools, parents would pay. So it would be like per head. So and some would have classes for a day, if you want to just try it out, for a week, for a month, and for a term. So sometimes people would pay for a week, sometimes people would pay for a term. So like there was actually like a lot of money
coming
like
in.
People were buying cars, like I got a car, Clutch got a car, Chisha got a car, Flex was buying like equipment, you know what I mean? Yeah, there was racks. Flex started making most of his racks also from production again. So we were headed towards like really like just making cash.
So like now, and then you moved to Zambia.
Yeah.
What are you leaving behind in Urban Empire? Or why are you leaving to Zambia?
Yeah, this is going to be like, I think the first time I'm talking about this story. Because a lot of students, fans were touched when I did. People weren't following me. I think they still unfollowing me from Botswana. Like my friends, like my students unfollowing me. They're like, this guy committed treason. He dipped.
You dipped on us.
But I'm going to talk about, I think, first of all, like I've always been Zambian.
Yeah.
Like you guys know that, like I've always been Zambian.
100%. Like even when I was interacting with you as like a, you know, beginning creative then, like I always hear from your accent of like, he's not actually
like
Botswana. Yeah.
But I was born in Botswana.
Yeah.
And it's just very confusing. A lot of people in my situation know, like, it's very confusing because sometimes I feel like I'm still attached to Botswana.
Yeah.
I have, like, fans from Botswana, they reach out to me like, bro, so you've just dipped on us like this.
You
just bounced, bro.
I'm going to be saying this whole interview. I'm sorry.
You have to.
Yeah.
So that's how, it sort of started off. We also had a fallout in Urban Empire.
Wow.
Like we had like a very, very bad fallout.
What happened there?
What happened was, okay, now money was coming in, fame, like we used to do Chill Step, like Chill Step would pay us, bro. Like everyone was just paying us. You know what I mean? And like the company was growing, we were expanding. And I'm saying we would have been able to run a sustainable company because we just need to maybe, if the brand grows, our pricing would grow. So our dance class prices were going to increase.
Obviously.
And our academy was now, let's say SA started seeing us now. So now imagine we started tapping into like expanding the company into maybe SA and dance classes in different places around, even just SADC alone. We were going to like really make millions from. We were turning Urban Empire Dance School, we changed Urban Empire Dance Academy now. It was now.
Yeah, and I think I remember that, yeah.
Then we were doing productions, theater productions. So we had like Evolution of
and like
Dance.
my
Tiso. Yeah, so now we were branching off into arts, full arts.
Yeah.
Then Flex was supposed to bring now music. Now we were just...
With like the beats and everything,
We were going to have like a music academy, like a theater academy, everything,
What?
We also had the drip, those days were also about the fashion. So we had like the full package, we had a foolproof plan. But the problem came in when me and Flex, I won't lie, me and Flex really invested a lot in the brand.
Yeah.
Because me and Flex were like the graphic designers. You know what I mean? Cool. Me and Flex were the content creators, were the ones who used to edit the videos. We used to do A&R and PR, we're the ones doing the emails. Sometimes Flex would invest his own money into sponsored posts and boosting. Flex was like the sound engineer of Urban Empire.
For sure.
The visionary of like, this is the sound we should use, this is how we should use sounds,
Cool.
Sometimes we'd use a popular song, Flex would break it down, the stems, and would do a live performance of our set at the president's concert. He would curate the band and work with the team, Flex, And then me, I was sort of like the lead and the visionary. I'd had conversations with all these people, like all these, the corporate world, parents. I used to talk to parents. I had parents' numbers, talking to them. No, what time are classes ending? Are you guys still having classes? Doing payments, accounts, and transactions and all that stuff. We used to work hard, like full time. We would go for dance class. After dance class, Banty's calling us. So I'm a ski mask performing. We go perform with them. We shoot content for the dance classes. We shoot content at the show, at Chill Step, whatever show it is. We go home on like Flex's Wi-Fi, because Flex had like good Wi-Fi at that time.
Which was very scarce then.
Yeah, it was very scarce those days. Go to Flex's Wi-Fi, connect, and start posting on Snapchat, Facebook, YouTube. This side Flex is uploading the video. This side we're posting on our personal stories. We're posting on the cruise, social media stories. Yeah. So we reached a point now when the money was coming in, when we had a meeting and we're like, me, Flex, and everyone who's doing extra stuff to run the business need to start getting paid for that. So we came from a point where we sort of just started off like we're just dancing, So everyone got comfortable with that. People at that age, they're young. I mean, I know we had a fallout and stuff, but I can't blame them and say I hate them or anything. I think we're cool with most of them now. We were just young. Maybe we needed management of like adults. Say, guys,
adults.
Listen,
This is how we could move better.
Yeah,
and
this is
so
how
forth.
we can. This is how it is.
Yeah.
So me and Flex have just always also been very entrepreneurial. So that's very natural for us.
Yeah, you guys were always the risk takers.
Yeah, risk takers. Yeah, we'll try a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So after that, we had a meeting now with Urban Empire where we're like, yo guys, we're working really hard and like we'll burn out. Like if we keep on, doing
working like this. Yeah.
We're young that time, we could manage. But like even right now, if that's how we were working, I don't think I'd be enjoying being a creative.
Yeah.
Had a meeting, we talked about it, and then now that's when egos came in. Like you guys should be getting more money. You guys should be
but I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But you're doing this. Yeah.
That's when now egos came in. And then
in Setswana we call it huipala. You're literally, telling, trying to show your impact in like a very phony way. Yeah.
So that's when egos came in, and that's when things just started like crumbling now, like division and separation. But one thing that made me leave, and I don't know, I hope like maybe the government like won't like, I hope I won't disappear. I hope, but like I'm just going to be honest.
Keep it real.
I grew up in Botswana. My father also stayed in Botswana for a long time, right? I've worked with corporate government. I remember performing in front of the Minister of Sports, Youth and Culture, is like right here talking to him. You know what I mean? President's concert, like I told you, all these events, BNSC Awards. We taught so many kids. Like people were not even out here on drugs and like
they were actually dancing.
People were dancing. It was a culture. I would go to Chill Step and fill up the stage with students where their parents are dropping students off in the night because they're going to perform.
Crazy.
Kids are dancing, rehearsing, creating their own videos and content. They're obsessed. Dance was a drug that time. Like we made it a wave, a drug, and kids were getting hooked on it, and their parents were getting hooked on it as well. They loved it. They're like, this is an amazing distraction for my kids. Because you know how dance is, you have to practice every day, all the time.
Yeah.
Practice times were crazy. Parents would be picking up their kids Saturday night from rehearsal.
What?
And if it's not rehearsal, it's an event. There's no time to like fuck around and like play around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was, we were hooked,
What?
And we had all these kids and they were growing and they were becoming really, really good, And then now we're pushing really hard in World of Dance. Like the Kinjas, we're working with World of Dance. And they email us. We get an email from one of the members from the Kinjas. Flex is looking at his name. It's like, yo, this guy, I know this guy. It's like, yo, you guys have been accepted to come perform at World of Dance in Las Vegas, New York, and Boston. We're like, nah, there's no way. They're like, nah. They send us another email. Guys, send us the props that you're coming with. We're sending you measurements of the stage. Like, we're full on. It's just that with World of Dance, such a big platform that we pay you. I think they said we'll give you, like, there's a certain amount they're going to pay us. But they said everything else you have to cover, like your flights and your accommodation. So that's how now, I remember, I don't know if you saw, we put a post out, we're like, yo, guys, we've been invited to represent Botswana, in all these states. Like it's happening. And we were seeking funding. So that was the same time BNSC Awards was there. I remember ATI was performing as well, and we opened, and I think also closed BNSC Awards. With also like the piece, we'd created some piece that had like Party C and hip hop as well. And like we had leather jackets, we had drip. It was like crazy. It's like nothing anyone has ever seen, And when we did it at my T-Song, people were moved. That's the same piece that Botswana booked us for. And Botswana paid us like crazy. We had to open like a business account for them out of money that they paid us. Rock 6 Shako XA, Brandon XA. It was booked. So that's how now all that is happening, right? And it's the perfect time. BNSC Awards. I've forgotten the minister that was there that time. He's right there in front of us. We're performing at BNSC Awards. We had a proposal already and like a disc of our show reel and everything we've done. These are the kids we've taught. We also did charity events. Like we taught at different schools. We also taught in certain like government schools that had charity organizations because people were like, yo, you guys can just be doing this for private schools. We're like, we don't have a problem. Like we're about the culture. We'll teach like a bunch of primary kids at different schools, through a charity organization. And we did everything, That's how we approached the minister after our amazing performance. Everyone's like, yo, this is crazy. We give him our proposal and a disc with our videos and dance classes, everything. And that's how he's like, all right, no, this is amazing. We'll contact you guys. We'll have a meeting with you guys. get my PR's contact. He's watched the performance. Like it's, you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
We don't even have to start selling ourselves too much. Like go through everything. It had the invites, it had the itinerary of like everything that we needed, how much we need to spend, etc., etc. So that's when we started like approaching the Ministry of Sports, Youth and Culture. We started talking to different people, and people started saying, you know, the fact that like me, Flex, and I think Cheesy are not like fully Botswana, it would be a problem for us to get sponsorship to the US.
Well, that's tight.
Then I'm like, what do you mean? I was born Princess Marina Hospital. I'm out here. I've never been arrested in my life in Botswana. I don't have any criminal record. And I'm doing this,
you know, and like I'm doing this all in the name of Botswana.
Of Botswana. Yeah. I'm not going to represent Zambia where my parents are from. Yeah. Where I've lived as well, because I also lived in Zambia for 4 to 5 years. I was in and out. When my mom was sick, I had to come back and live in Botswana. That's one of the main reasons I came to live in Botswana, because she passed on. And my father was working here, so I had to come back here. Not only like are we representing Botswana, we've done so much. Like we deserve it. Like we deserve to go on this trip. Like you have to take, even if it's Botswana's last money, and take us. You know, that's how it was supposed to be, you know.
It's crazy.
But then now people start saying things like it becomes a bit xenophobic.
And then they look at it from like a point of view which they think is patriotic, but isn't really, man. Come on, man. I think, you know, like for people that have been doing it, you know, for, you know, changing the landscape as dope as you guys were doing it, I think whether you came from, you know, Zambia or Zim or whatever the case may have been, you know what I mean? But I just genuinely feel like, you know, you guys deserved it, you know. Like you said, you were literally keeping, you know, kids distracted at like a time where, you know, it was like literally dangerous, dog. And
that's what happened. And it really broke my heart. And I also went to the immigration. This was after everything. I was like, okay, we'll keep pushing. I went to the immigration and like I showed them my birth certificate. I showed them this item, you know, this item. Mukento. I have a Mukento. I'm like, yo, guys.
I was born here.
Like, I'm born here. I need to be a citizen because, you know, if I'm a citizen, I can go to school for free, etc., etc. You know, it's easier. Life is easier as a citizen. And I was just like, yo, I deserve to be a citizen. Like, I'm a Botswana. You know what I mean? So at that point, they told me that, like, no, like, chances of me getting citizenship are almost like low to none. And I was like, you know what? Then I'm not a Botswana. Then I've never been to Botswana. Then I'm going back to Zambia.
Honestly, man, that's hectic.
Yeah, it's a very sensitive topic.
It's a very sensitive topic that deserves like a whole nother episode, obviously. You know, but then also you moved to Zambia, and then you start working on Lusaka Starter Pack. What is that?
Yeah, so now I moved to Zambia, and I think you're like Zambians, like you've seen, man. They took
like receive it, you know, like evidently, man.
They took me in, and like this is when now like my name is Mobangwe Kasamwa. Like they were like they're on Spoda.
They were like, what?
Their own has pulled up. I mean, I was pushing for some time.
You know, still doing the dance.
Yeah, still pushing dance. And then now I had to evolve. And I think God was just telling me like, yo, there's much more you could do. Because I was really big into film and like content creation and like, social media and everything. So that's how I just went back and tapped into a culture that I was in when I used to live in Zambia for that 4 to 5 years. So I just came in, started like creating around that culture, and then like now the rest was history.
What?
You know what I mean?
What?
And then
and then now with the LSK Starter Pack, how did how did you actually put it together, like the cast and like so forth? You know, for somebody that's probably in Zambia right now watching this and wondering, how did Bo mix, you know, choose this cast and like so forth?
It started with, like I told you, there was a market of like the lingo.
The lingo. Yeah,
Lingo
I
is
want to talk
very,
about that actually.
Yeah, lingo is very powerful and off camera. Okay, I think I can talk about it on camera because I don't think anyone will execute it the way I want to.
Yeah.
But there's also lingo in B-dub for my check.
Yeah. I was gonna talk about that. But kind of LSK lingo is like kind of like a distinction that you know sets you apart from like other cultural landscapes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then in Botswana, it's looked at, you know, in a way, you know, like what I say, you know, your sat, you know what I mean? But with you guys, it's literally more than that. You know what I mean? It's something that actually gives you guys like the identity.
It gives us an identity.
Yeah.
Right now we're in a very competitive space. Like we're competing worldwide. Like when you put content out, like you're competing with everyone.
For sure.
So I created and packaged that. I didn't create the lingo. I just took what already existed and packaged it in a way to give people or Zambia an identity, like a unique identity. That's why I embody it in my music.
For sure.
In my content, etc.
Sure.
I've embodied it with different brands as well.
Cool.
Because it's something that has been there for like a long time.
Yeah.
So I just took that culture and I was like, no one is tapping into this culture. No one is
I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna put it on my shoulders.
On my shoulders. That's how I just started. Like, I created the first episode where it's like a typical
which is
situation.
funny as fuck.
Yeah.
That shit was so funny, man.
Yeah, and it was sort of like typical like LSK Buddha.
Yeah,
you know.
for sure.
And it's also looked down upon in Zambia. Like it's like if you talk like that, if you're about that culture.
You're like what?
Joke. Joke.
Or like ratchet or what?
No, not ratchet. It's more like it's for
or like a clown.
Yeah, like weak, you know. Like, you know how they look at Macheki sometimes. You know what I mean?
Nah,
but Macheki are not necessarily like
weak.
ratchet.
Yeah.
Macheki actually have the pies.
They have the pies.
In Zambia, we call them yo balis. Like a yo balis, like, you know, dream.
Or like a yo bali.
Yeah, like he listens to hip hop.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, his shit, just like the way I'm dressed. Like that's how like a yo bali like. So in Zambia, like it was do-rags because everyone was like doing the waves that time.
Yeah.
So like they have a do-rag, you know, slides, some shorts, a bottleneck, you know, sitting there, you know, lying to the pie, like you know, he pushes his Bali's whip, you know. Pretending like it's his, he can drive it anytime.
And then you have like your cab app, that didn't episode Yango. Yeah. I think that's the one part. That's the one episode that you guys were talking about meeting the Bali. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So it's sort of like that's how it's very similar to like Botswana actually. Right. And if things go well, we might
branch out.
Branch out and see like a Gaborone startup pack. And I'd make you guys blonde, man. Like I'm telling you, like the same way I was seeing Lusaka startup pack is the same way I'm seeing like a Gabs City startup pack. You know? Brandon will be one of the ons there.
One of the ons.
Perfect. So we'll see how that goes. I feel like that's the only thing I can try and do in terms of like, as much as I'm Zambian, still one Africa, we still need to unite.
For sure. We're still in Southern Africa.
Yeah, we're still a SADC. If there's anything SADC I could do, it would be like a Gab City startup.
Yeah, for sure. My nigga, I think talking about Lusaka and Zambia, how do you think Botswana's art structures, can I get it? Like before talking about how, do you actually think Botswana's art structures favor like the ordinary content creator?
Right now, what I can say about Botswana from experience and just observation and going to Zambia.
Like from a perspective from you literally experienced it, now you're outside it. Yeah, for sure.
Botswana's like everything's fine. Like you guys, like talent, aesthetic, drip, everything is on point. You know, if not, a lot of how I present, how I am, and what makes me unique in Zambia is the fact that like I was exposed
to Botswana.
It's a mixture.
Yeah,
you understand? So it just makes it more powerful
and even easier.
Yeah. The only problem is number one is the population.
Yeah,
it's just the population.
I stress that point a lot of times, man. Yeah,
like it's just a numbers thing. Like it's difficult.
Like how many are you guys in Zambia?
In Lusaka, I think it's over close to 3 to 4 million. I'm not sure.
And that's literally more than Botswana's population.
More than Botswana. Like I had a culture shock in Lusaka. There's people everywhere. Like here, there'd be at least even there like 10, 11 people. The people in here. What? The people in the hall. It's impossible to come to a place like this
and then find it like this. Yeah.
So the population is very, very favorable. The entire country is approaching 20 million people.
What?
So that's another thing.
But hence your views, dog.
Yeah. What? It's really, and then secondly, in terms of Botswana, I think one thing is just mindset. I feel like there's a lot of density,
you speak about that a lot. Like
mindset. Like there's a lot of countries that have like low populations, but they have like things going. I think one of the I was doing research in population, like one of these Korean countries, they like were really doing well with fashion and stuff, but their population is very like low.
Yeah.
But it's not as low as Botswana, but the mindset, like right now, especially right now, the energy in Botswana is that like you can't make it in Botswana. Like people need to stop saying that.
But you can, dog.
Huh?
I feel like you can make it.
Yeah, you can make it.
You can make it. It just depends on what market you tap into, basically.
Yeah, and just sort of your team and the vision. Because we were able to make money and like get invited to World of Dance.
Like
in a place like Botswana.
In a place with a small population like Botswana.
You understand? Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't know, what's the population of Botswana?
2.3 million.
2.3 million. I still feel like you can get all those 2.3, still a lot of people.
Still a lot of people. 2 million alone.
Push. You can get a community of at least certain people and create quality content and still manage. There were times at like my African dream. It was crazy. It was crazy.
It was a crazy time.
And I feel like if Botswana changed the mindset and now people start believing it's possible, now you find essays looking for something new. They'll start now investing or tapping into Botswana entertainment market. So at the end of the day, with social media and the internet, it's still possible.
And also being authentic. Authentic makes. Please don't forget to put that out there. And I feel like it's a lot of things. Like it's a lot of us that are failing to tap into that. Us being authentic with where we actually come from. You know what I mean? Because there's literally no one that could do a better job at being ourselves
than ourselves.
You know what I mean? So I feel like it's the one thing that's actually still lacking, like on our side. You know what I mean? Us actually not tapping into our identity like that in terms of like the content creation and like the music most of all.
Like especially like you've just seen how music's gone now. Like, you can't be too Western now. Like if you're too Western. Even when you go to the US, they're like, what are you trying to do?
What are you trying to do? You know what I mean? This is our thing,
Yeah, so it's just trying to find a way to really be different and authentic, like you said. That's why you've heard some of the music of like the few tracks I've released, like I use the lingo. That you never find anyone using the lingo. And those people are still getting used to it now. I know whoever in the future, if kids want something to use to make them look different and stuff, sound different, it will be something that will be available, So like you said, authenticity and creativity also. People need to start creating different
I think creativity, we are up there. I think we're...
But creativity also has a lot to do with doing something that has never been done. Sounding in a way.
For sure.
Because when you create something, it's from nothing.
From nothing,
Not from other things and you create. It should be from nothing.
For sure.
So creativity is deeper as well. Like coming up with something that has never been done before. Never been heard. That's something that could help.
So like Mix, like to close this interview off, my nigga, I really wish we could sit much, much longer.
There's
a lot we could talk about, but like this is not the last time we're linking. I pray so and hope so. Like to close this off, my nigga, why are you doing this? Like, why do you create? Why do you entertain people?
I think, first of all, I know how saturated African economies are. Like, I'm talking about, like, even both Botswana and, like, Zambia, where everyone wants to do the same thing, you know? Everyone wants to go corporate. If we all go corporate, then, like, it's not going to make sense.
Sure.
So I'm here to represent, like, the entertainment industry, to inspire, like, it's been a mission from Urban Empire just to inspire, like, everyone else to, like, we start developing, like, a different industry and monetizing. So that's, like, one of the main reasons why I do, like, what I do is, like, yeah.
Do you think it's a sustainable career moving forward? Do you look at, you know, yourself feeding your kids, taking your kids to school with what you do now?
Yeah, definitely. It's just, you just now have to turn everything you're doing, like content, everything, into a business. Once it starts operating, monetizing that with different avenues. Like, there's videos on YouTube that talk about how you break down as a brand, as a content creator, with merch, Patreon, and like events, and like, you know what I mean? There's
educating those online courses,
master classes, so many avenues to monetize from being a creative. Once you have that and a reputable brand, a brand that has been there for a long time, trust me, like, it will be very easy for creatives to be millionaires, and creatives will be the future of the world. Like, I don't know.
Do you think you could still talk like that if you're still living in Botswana?
That's exactly how I was talking when I was in Botswana. It's just that we were not podcasting. But this is the conversations I was having with everyone. With everyone, like the kids, they would be asking, like, yo, will we manage, like, to, like, survive off of this? But their parents could see, like, yo, it's possible. And just if we went to World of Dance and performed there, yo, it would have been over. Like, you know, would have connections, networks, performed in front of the world. Dance would have changed in Botswana.
For sure.
You understand? There would have been a direct link now, like, yo, guys, let's see what's happening in Botswana. And there's been dance groups, like, here who would make millions from dance. You know what I mean? So we used to see it happen. You know, people went to Broadway, New York, and stuff like that.
From Botswana?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know if you remember.
I don't even know that.
I went to Broadway and, like, yeah.
Honestly, shit around here is not that well documented, man.
Yeah, so, I think it needs a documentary on that. But yeah, there's a lot. It's possible, trust me.
All right.
Even in Botswana.
All right. Nah, my nigga Mix, thank you so much for coming through.
Anytime.
Thank you so much for you know, pulling up, you know, to the city, man. Like, I thought you were gone, man. Like, you were so famous back there.
You thought,
like, it's crazy, dog. You know what I mean? Like, I see you on your statuses all the time. Like, you know, you got kids asking you to take, you know, selfies with you, and it's like crazy. You know what I mean? That word.
It's bookie,
It's bookie. But yeah, man, Mix, thank you so much for coming through, man.
Anytime.
And I wish you. I wish you nothing but success in your future endeavors. Keep doing what you're doing, my nigga. I wish to see us, you know, bridge more gaps, you know, like between, you know, like the GC and LSK.
That's the plan.
Culture.
That's the plan. Thank you for having me as well. Like, it's an honor
for sure
to be able to come interact and share my story and, like, keep pushing the podcast.
I will, man.
I'd like
100%.
to see, I feel like push even to episode 100. That's when now trust, like, you start seeing, like, keep pushing.
I got you, my nigga. I got you, my nigga. Yo, guys, this has been another episode of the Eyes of Brandon podcast. Hashtag the hangout session. I was with Mix Kasamwa.
The hardest on,
all the way from LSK.
Buddha.
XA.
Buddha.
I was wearing a durak.
Yeah, and on, man. Yeah, real on, man.
I'm a hard on.
Yeah, hard on, Buddha, with the durak.
With the durak XA. My niggas, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcast, thank you for watching this on YouTube. Please engage, like, subscribe, most of all, comment, interact, share this episode with whoever feels like you is gonna relate to this. And thank you so much for tuning in. And this has been another episode of the Eyes of Brandon podcast. Before you do any of that fancy bullshit, don't forget to give thanks, get fresh, praise the Lord, then finish.
Yes, Liddy right now. The gang gon' get it right now. I'm in Gap City right now.